Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief.
Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years, Haim Eshed, is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials.
The big question, has the state of Israel made contact with aliens? Well, according to retired Israeli General Professor Haim Eshed, the answer is yes.
Aliens are real and US President Donald Trump knows about it. There's an agreement between the US government and the aliens as they wish to research and understand the fabric of the universe.
There have been face-to-face meetings between United States officials and visitors from other star systems, period.
In December of 2020, Haim Eshed, former security chief of Israel's space program and former military general of the Israel Ministry of Defense, made a statement about how aliens are real. He stated that alien civilizations have been in contact with the Earth and the American government for some time now. Haim Eshed, who is now 89 years old, has been awarded 3 times by the President of Israel for his significant contributions to the defense of the state of Israel. This means he is a well-respected man and he's probably seen some things in his lifetime that we will never encounter. So I believe that the chances of him lying are very slim. And I'm not lying when I say I did a past life regression and found out I was an extraterrestrial in a past life. It never crossed my mind that it would be possible to be regressed back to a past or future lifetime where aliens actually existed. But it is. Whether you resonate with this content or not, this is still my experience and this actually happened to me. Taking a step back and realizing that our souls are energy and energy can be transformed and repurposed, it only makes sense that this is an actual real possibility. So with that being said, welcome to part 3 of my past life regression session. My name's Emily and I help people reprogram their mind by showing them alternative ways of healing their mind, body, and spirit. In today's video, I'll be showing you my second past life regression session that I did with Lee, a psychic medium and owner of the Montclair Psychic School. If you watched part 2, you might recall that I initially became interested in past life regression therapy after coming across Dr. Brian Weiss's books. He is a doctor that spent his entire career studying regression therapy, and he went to Columbia and Yale University. I also mentioned in part 2 that the United States Army has actually been experimenting with psychics and their abilities and trying to weaponize them. So I actually go over 3 different programs in part 2, so if you missed that, be sure to check it out. In part 1, I briefly mentioned Dolores Cannon, a regressive hypnotherapist and psychic researcher who invented QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique, the same technique Lee used on me during this past life regression session.
I always want to make it perfectly clear that I am not a channeler. I don't channel and I'm not a psychic. I'm a hypnotherapist. And I've been doing hypnotherapy for 40 years.
I honestly didn't know much about Dolores Cannon's work until this experience.
I'm just like looking around at the surrounding area and I guess taking in that this is like nothing I've ever seen before and trying to comprehend what this is.
Allow yourself to move into that experience.
It feels like very tropical, but not in a sense of like tropical where we are. For example, the sky is not blue, the sky is purple.
Just be there in the present without comparing. Allow your conscious mind to recede into the background.
There's like these birds flying around, there's very large trees, there's also not necessarily a shoreline, but there's water there.
Do you see any other people around you?
No.
Get a sense, if you look down on the ground, get a sense of your physical form over there. What do you sense about yourself?
I sense masculine energy, but I can't really tell if I'm a male or a female.
Just take your attention a little bit further up your body right now. And you'll start to become sensitive to maybe what you're wearing.
I'm wearing some type of like space outfit. I feel like kind of like I'm like some type of like soldier, and like it's white.
I've never seen anything like this. My eyes completely rolled back and they started to slightly twitch, which never happens except for the time that I astral projected.
Let's go to the place that you live. Moving forward now, we're going to the place that you live. What do you see? What do you experience?
It seems to be that I live underground, but like I'm not always there.
Oh, when you're not there, what do you do?
I'm like getting like some type of like officer. I don't like commander.
So you're in the military. What purpose do you serve in this lifetime?
I can't breathe when I'm above ground.
Why can't you breathe when you're above ground?
I need this like suit in order to breathe.
Do you know what planet you're on?
No.
As a child, I was obsessed with The Little Mermaid, and every year for Halloween, I would dress up as Ariel. Every single year. Was this obsession that I had with The Little Mermaid truly a coincidence, or was it because it felt familiar to my soul as a child and it reminded me of a past life?
If you look around, do you see other people, others like you?
Yes.
And as you start speaking, you might be able to clarify with one of them. What do you sense?
We're here to take resources.
You're here to take resources.
Yes.
And what are the resources for?
Our planet, where we come from.
The planet where you come from? Yes.
Is dying or is dead.
Is dying or is dead.
In the beginning, when they were coming here, many groups were allowed to come because there were things on Earth they could use.
To clarify, this experience was multi-sensory, which means I could see, feel, touch, smell, and so on. Therefore, as soon as this past life regression started, I knew I was no longer on Earth because every single thing was different. Found my mind trying to analyze and compare in order to make sense of what I was seeing. However, it was hard for me to convey my experience because it was very different, unique, and cosmic.
What kind of resources do you look for there?
We don't only take water, but we take something else that's like in the ground. So I feel like our mission here is we have to drill, and that's how we were able to like build something underground. And we only do it at night. I just feel myself like working so hard. I don't want to say it's like a moon in the sky, but it's not like, it's like super big. Like, it's like, I don't know if it's like a different planet in the sky. My main mission there was to take resources and to store the resources.
And who are you fighting?
There's more than one type of like species. Like, I'm sensing like we're all fighting for the same thing. We're all fighting for these resources.
Can you describe what another species might look like?
They're a lot bigger than us. They kind of look like scorpions. They're really big, and they come in all different types of colors. So the color that I am, I'm like blue and purple, and the color that they are, they're like black, red, orange. But I feel like they're like dominating all the resources.
Dominating the resources. So the work you're doing is to help your species survive.
But I feel like my species are about to become extinct.
To go into more detail, what I saw was different species on this planet. So I was not the only one harvesting resources from this planet. There was a ton of other civilizations that were doing the same thing. However, specifically for my species, I was literally like an octopus fish looking being that ranged from like 7 to 8 feet, super tall. I just remember being super tall. We were also like this purple bluish color. We were not tan, white, black. We were all purple bluish, and we ranged. You know, some of us was a little bit darker, some of us was a little bit lighter, but the base color was purplish blue. And also, instead of hair, we had like tentacles, and that is what reminded me of Medusa. It was giving me like Medusa vibes. As you could tell, this species was most powerful in water. However, majority of this past life regression session took place on land.
Is there a color to your world? What is the color of your world?
All I sense is pure, the color blue, but not the blue that we know. This is like a different type of blue.
Your world is the blue one. It's blue.
And I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Now I actually feel I'm there.
You're in your world?
Yes.
Describe, what do you see?
I spend most of my time in water.
And what is your form?
I'm some type of aquatic being. Like something that could definitely survive in the water long term. I'm supposed to be in water.
Because this was a multi-sensory experience, I could tell being on land was a lot for my body, even with this technology.
Are you happy in that life, in that role?
I'm very content, and I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And I could see myself guiding people, and I could see like people that are being afraid coming to me, and I'm giving them the wisdom and the comfort that they need.
This life you're in, this world you're in right now. Is this world, has this already happened, or is this a future world we're going to?
I can't tell, but based off of that suit I was in, I'm thinking it's maybe futuristic, but I'm not really sure. It feels like something familiar. This has happened before, but the technology that I feel, that I see, it's nothing that I'm aware of.
Dolores Cannon was an author that wrote a series of books based on several different subjects she encountered using past life regression therapy. Dolores Cannon recalls she was able to establish communication with different living beings. During a past life regression session with one of her clients, Dolores came across Michel de Nostradam, better known as Prophet Nostradamus. After a few years of working with Nostradamus, dictating the meanings of his messages, Dolores published a series of books between the years of 1989 to 1992 called The Conversation with Nostradamus. This book discussed over 1,000 predictions and prophecies, including the creation of supercomputers, the rise of the internet, erratic weather patterns, the earth changing, the war in the Middle East, nuclear weapons, visitations from extraterrestrial races, and much more. As you could tell, through the use of past life regression therapy, Dolores Cannon was able to accurately predict the future based on her findings from her clients. If you think that's wild, what blows my mind even more is clients that don't even know each other started to relay the same message back to Dolores. What are the odds of that? They all started sharing the same message that an earth shift was coming, and our souls chose to reincarnate on this planet in order to raise the vibration during this difficult time.
These like souls that I've known for like ever, like everyone's dying.
Everyone is dying. Oh. Are those souls that you've known during that lifetime?
Yes, it's like I've known them for forever. And I was supposed to be the one to protect them.
Why were you the one who was supposed to protect them?
They just put all this like pressure on me, on like you're the one that's supposed to do this. But it feels like I didn't mind that role. Like, I was able to really like tap into that and accept it because I knew how important it was.
Okay. Let's just move through the death scene that's already happened right now. Let's just move up outside that physical body of yours. We can look back on this life there.
Sacrifice myself in that way. I feel like I died in the battleground, like trying to protect everyone.
And what do you think that taught you?
It's not always about me. It's not always about what I want. It's sometimes you need to sacrifice yourself that the species survives selfless love in order for it to just continue. And I feel like my death was just like a tiny sacrifice of like a greater purpose. I feel like I've learned that I'm actually so much stronger than I give myself credit for.
She claims souls chose to be on Earth at this time to be a part of this monumental shift in our history of evolution. Dolores Cannon wrote that Nostradamus communicated to her that the souls on Earth at this time chose to be here at this specific moment, and that they would be going through large amounts of karma. The souls on Earth at this time are aware of the consequences of this shift, and that is why there are more old souls on Earth than ever before. A few years after Dolores Cannon wrote Conversations with Nostradamus, she came out with another book series named The Convoluted Universe. November of 2021, The Convoluted Universe Book 2 was published. Specifically, in Chapter 30, Dolores mentions that this is not the first time that the Earth has gone through a dimensional shift. And there is actual physical proof of this. She mentions how past civilizations before us, such as the Egyptians, the Mayans, and so on, seem to have just vanished off the face of the earth after a certain time period. She claimed that these civilizations had expanded their consciousness and raised their vibration to a certain level that we could no longer perceive them because they are no longer vibrating at the certain frequency that we are vibrating at. As you can imagine, this idea touches bases on the idea of parallel universes. One concept that supports the idea of a new Earth, parallel universes, and the shifting of dimensions and frequencies are Mandela effects, which is a collection of false memories shared by a large group of people. The term Mandela effect was first coined in 2009, which means this concept and idea of multiple people remembering things differently is fairly new. After researching QHHT and Dolores Cannon, I started looking into different star systems and starseed lineage. I came across this book that was written by a director at Buzzfeed, Whitney Jefferson Evans. Starseeds are souls who are not from our star system or galaxy, but have chosen to incarnate on Earth. They have made the conscious decision to come to our planet and help it become the best version of itself, and help the planet and its people ascend to a higher dimension. Starseeds are here on Earth for a specific reason, to raise the energetic vibration of the planet in order to improve the quality of life. I honestly had no idea that Buzzfeed employees were this woke, but as you could tell, there is a name for this phenomenon.
The second life that we had, I don't know about you, I thought we went to Atlantis, something like that. It was really interesting.
An underwater world, yes.
Yeah, but also if you listen back to the journey of that guy as well, you know that there was so much pressure on him to take care of people and to protect people, kind of put himself back second, right, and put everyone else first. So I think there were a lot of learnings and lessons coming from that lifetime as well. But do see if you can go back into Atlantis, because I think that's going to be very, very interesting. You know.
Yeah.
The thing is, your souls had so many journeys, so many lives, right?
Yes.
it's been a long time since I had someone go into a life like that, so that was really interesting. So thank you so much for giving me the experience over there.
I like to think of myself as a very open-minded person. However, I am very logical. I need to find some sort of concrete evidence in order to prove and validate my experiences. And I feel like in this 3-part series, I tried my best. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I was not aware of Dolores Cannon's work prior to doing this past life regression session. Everything she had written about in her books, based on her findings in the 80s, definitely resonated with my experience. Taking the time to reflect back on my experience taught me that I am not my past lives. My past lives are an extension of my soul. Although it's the same stream of consciousness, no one's past lives' personalities are ever the same. There is an energetic shift and great awakening unfolding right before our eyes. And I created this 3-part series specifically for those people that know what I'm talking about. If you felt something different happen in your life, if everything seems not as it seems, this video and 3-part series was made specifically for you. Lee, the psychic medium, was kind enough to give me a $50 off coupon code. So if you do use that link, you do get $50 off and I get a cut of that. So it is an affiliate link. Be sure to comment down below or to DM me if you do use the code so I know. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. It truly means a lot. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.